Welcome to Out of the Noise podcast, a spiritual growth podcast. This podcast is about holding sacred space to help assist humanity to raise their consciousness through connection by having courageous conversations out of the noise of mainstream with heart-centered leaders, wisdom keepers, and divine humans expanding into their authenticity and soul purpose. We will explore spiritual concepts, practices, and shadow to deepen into your healing and the collective. Priestess Lily is a medium, light activator, and heart-centered leader that is committed in raising the light frequency and consciousness here on Earth for us all. You can work with her and learn more by visiting www.priestesslily.com. Enjoy your spiritual learnings.
Welcome to Out of the Noise. I'm Priestess Lily, channeler, medium, sacred heart healer, and space holder. My purpose is to create content that will help humanity rise in consciousness through connection. I do this by facilitating courageous conversations that will leave you activated, alongside heart-centered leaders, wisdom keepers, and divine humans expanding into their authenticity and soul purpose. Together, we can strive to elevate a higher level of consciousness and really help each other on our own spiritual journeys. Welcome, divine humans. I know it's been a while, but today we are going to talk about being a super manifestor. My girlfriends call me the manifesting queen, and I make it look pretty easy. Sometimes it's not so easy, but it's always a challenge in trusting your true self. And today I talk to my beautiful guest, Carmelle. But first, if you're listening to the sacred conversation today, it's not by chance. You also embody the essence of a super manifestor. You carry within you an extraordinary desire to shape your life experiences into something magnificent, polarizing, witnessing your positive aspirations and allowing them to manifest in the physical world. Does that sound like you? As the most positive person in your circle, you have the spirit of curiosity, heightened awareness, transformation, and pure mastery. If you're a leader, a disruptor, hello, that's me, a change maker, an alchemist, your energetic connection to the universe, the cosmic realms, the stars, then welcome today. You're going to love today's conversation. So I extend a warm invitation for you to join the sacred conversation with Carmelle and me as we really dive deep into the realms of embodying more of your true self as a super manifestor. Welcome, sister, welcome. I'm so excited that we've just been talking for the last 10 minutes or like half hour, like we're long lost souls. We've known each other forever.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So, tell me a bit about yourself and how you have birthed yourself on this spiritual journey.
Well, kia ora, thank you for having me. Thank you so much for being here. And I just want to connect deeply in with my heart with everyone who's listening or anyone who watches this afterwards, because there's some serious high vibes that have just been exchanged and some serious galactic connections. So that's where I'll start, because when I was born in Laban, which now I can say a horo whenua, on the edge of a sacred lake, which once was sacred until the townspeople in their wisdom dumped their shit literally into that sacred lake and literally took it out and killed all the shellfish, the toiroa, etc., but anyway, I won't go into that. So when I was born, I was lucky to be born on the cusp of a star that is called Hinetakarua here, and otherwise known as Sirius, and you can see the Sirian. I'm a Sirian. But there's another star behind Sirius called Aotahi, and Aotahi is also known as Canopus, and that is like the sacred cave. And I think that's probably where you're from as well. So that's why we've connected here. But it's a place of it's a galactic stronghold. And everybody has this in themselves. It's just that some of us choose to embrace it in this physical life. And I am definitely one of those people who wears my spirit on the outside. I didn't know it for a very, very long time, or I chose not to know it because I wanted to make everyone happy around me. But at a point in one's time when we realize that we can't make anybody happy, we have to actually we can't make anyone happy unless we do it within. It just forces you into a journey of, in my case, it was extreme humiliation. But, I came out the other side and was able to really claim my spirit, and like we all can if we choose to do that. So that's my very short summation of a long many years on the physical planet.
And I really resonate with that. Like I totally resonate with Sirius. Totally. Yeah. And totally resonate with that needing to please everyone around you, but at the same time you're dying, and the uncomfortableness of not really sharing who you really are at a bigger context with the world. And it's a hard place to step into. Like, I think this is the thing, spirituality and owning your gift or owning your soul essence in the world can be really challenging at times.
It can be, but I think the one story the cultural story that goes with Hini Tākara Sirius is she is the space or the realm that takes the sun to bed. So that's a big role. It's like Persephone. And I remember I once said to someone, I really feel this journey of Persephone in me. It's the journey of Hini Tākara. It's the journey of Sirius. And it basically means you're buried in the world. You're buried in the ground and you're waiting to come up as a shoot. And I literally think everyone is like that. Like, we all literally have come here. We've chosen to bury ourselves in the shit. And it's really easy to go back to that space, to go back to seeing the sorrow, the moldy, and particularly at the moment, we've got, just these world events that are just scary. If we look at them, it's really hard to look up and see the sunlight. So I think that journey of Hini Tākara, half winter, half summer, all darkness coming into the light, is something that everyone has within them, waiting to unfold like a little kernel.
And it's like I said to someone the other day, sometimes, and this is also around the collective energy, sometimes our deepest suffering is actually the cracking into our light. Like we're, we are opening to our light. We need to go through the suffering in order to see the light, or in order to emerge as a different way of being. And I think that's also what, individually many of us are going through, but also collectively, I think that's what the world is currently experiencing en masse at the moment.
Yeah, it is funny that, because I always used to think New Earth and a lot of New Age. When people say to me New Age, I'm like, no, old age. It's just your New Age because you can't remember. Yeah. But New Earth had this, I don't like it because it's sort of, it's like we're going to float off and become this new planet. Well, we're kind of dumb as humans. We just have to personify everything. New Earth is actually about, realization of consciousness, and that is hard. But, going back to what you're saying about dark and light and shadow, and like everyone has it. But the thing about super manifestors and queen of manifestors and manifesting biatches, or however you want to, or, misters, is that we are not here to play small. And I don't mean small in terms of physical possessions or, world domination. We are not meant to play small in the realm of consciousness. We are meant to be spiritual disruptors. And if this appeals to anyone out there, it's time to stop playing small and to, I think this eclipse, for us down under, had the power of Aries, because we're opposite to those other ones in the northern hemisphere. Our sky is opposite, our seasons are opposite. It was a fire eclipse. It's a burn down the house eclipse, burn down the BS. We're like, you know, we're out of the spiritual closet, whether others like it or not, because I don't think we've got an issue with it.
No.
I'm snorting.
I say whatever, like, honestly. And it's interesting because I think our eclipse, you know, that we are our partial eclipse that comes through in March, in New Zealand, and it comes through us, I'm like, bring it on, baby, bring it on, because I feel like we need, you know, that message, that, you know, this is a powerful time of manifesting. Yeah. And I think we're being so drawn into the shadow that we're actually forgetting that this is a powerful time of creation.
Yeah, always. I've got
goosebumps. I've got goosebumps. So much to talk about. So I think it's really interesting because I think anyone can become a manifestor. It's about, I don't want to say controlling, harnessing, fine-tuning your consciousness. So tell us, talk a wee bit about that to the listeners.
Okay. Oh, thank you for asking me that question, because I love to explain it. So everyone manifests, right? Whatever is in front of you in your life right now is the product of your 70,000 thoughts and feelings per day, 25 million a year. Multiply that by the time you've been on this earth. You are manifesting with that, right? Brain, heart, spirit, all of that volume of thought, energy. There's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So everyone manifests. That's the first thing. Everybody. And so in everyone's life, they have a good area of manifestation. They have a really shit area. And the shit area is there to show you how good you can be if you don't focus on, you know, the caca.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Sadly, and this is a product again of we're one of the most programmed generations in human consciousness, and that's always because you got to have a lot of resistance before there's a pop up into the light. So sadly, 80% of most people's energy is negative. Even I check myself on this all the time. Like the negativity is just thinking, how is this going to happen? Why? Where's my stuff? Why is this not happening? It's your fault. It's their fault. It's the government's fault. I say this all the time. Like that energy, we're programmed because when we're little, we're buried in other people's energy systems. They're not aligned with their higher purpose, or very few of us get really good guides in our early years. We're walking around in this brainwave called theta, 0 to 7 years, and in our mum's womb. So we inherit this really bad program. And so most people are manifesting. Like, you will know when you're manifesting. If you're like me, really, really intense stuff shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's me. Super manifesting, which is why I called it that, is the conscious and focused and persistent and determined and slow focus on what you want. And most people do not find that beautiful, creative thinking wave, feeling wave in their everyday. And if, you know, all of us, we get up, check our phones, run around, drink coffee, jump in the car, drive off to work, sit there steaming all day because our bosses are come home, you know, pick up kids, make dinner, go to bed. Where in the day do you get space to super manifest in that if you're running that? It was, you know, I'm not pointing the finger at you, but most of us, we've got a dominant pattern. So that's what we're manifesting with. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally understand that. And I think, you know, it's like I always say to many of my clients, you know, they want to manifest whatever, you know, a new house or a new car or a dream boyfriend or whatever it is. Well, I think first you've got to start to get still.
Yeah.
That stillness in your body and the stillness in your nervous system and the stillness in your thought patterns, your message, your thoughts, let alone, the to-do list and letting go of all of that shit. It's just being present, being still. And then you can actually have true clarity of actually, when you get comfortable with that energy, then you get true clarity of what you're actually wanting to co-create. And it might not be what you initially were asking for or initially thinking you were needing. And I think that's quite scary. I think that in some capacity for people is quite scary because we manifest, a lot of people manifest from need rather than manifest from desire or joy. Would you agree?
That's absolutely, sorry, my nose is running as I'm saying this. The pollen is, I'm manifesting lots of pollen, but absolutely. So first thing is actually having desires. It's really hard for us to say what we want. Like when you're working with, and when you're first coming into your awareness of your inner power and how, what sits inside of you, which connects with this great force that creates everything, our co-creator, the universe, or however you term that. The most people can't say what it is they want. They'll tell you what they don't want. All of us can say that, as the first thing. Example is, look, when people say they want to get into their genes, it's I want to lose weight. Now, you're already working with a negative. You're always going to be wanting to lose weight if you've got that energy, as opposed to saying, I want to I want my really hot body to be even really hotter. That's just weird. Who does that? But whatever it is, it's firstly actually setting that desire and saying, because we have a universe, the first universal law, or the second universal law, I always get the two mixed up, is free will. The first one is we're connected. We're connected with what we consistently and persistently think about. And the second is free will. So it's firstly saying, yep, this is what I want. And then it's harnessing the power of the universe so we don't have to do it, because that's hard, by being slow and getting that slow brainwave. And that slow brainwave is, you would know it just intuitively, and spiritual people know it intuitively, but you only find it through deep meditation. Mm-hmm. You only find it. And you can get other brainwaves, like alpha's awesome. All the psychics, all of us operate on alpha. We're reading the signals. We don't even have to close our eyes. We can feel. We're sentient beings. We're visual beings. We're auditory beings. But actually to hit delta, I don't know about you. How long have you been meditating for?
Well, when I went to a meditating group in my probably 30s,
wow,
I actually went, I've been doing this for a while.
Really?
Yeah, so
awesome.
I'm not realising that is actually what I was doing as a teenager. Does that make sense? Because I thought consciously you had to go and, had to be part of a group. But I meditate. Normally I wake up at like 4:33, just depending on what's going on, what's going on in Ethos, what's happening. And I actually meditate then, without even consciously go into a meditational state, without even consciously realizing that is what I was actually doing as a teenager and a person in my 20s. Did I do it every day? No. But, so I don't consciously now feel like I have to go to a group to meditate. I can just do it whenever, wherever, in the car, driving, whatever. So
I wasn't meaning as a group, but yeah, no, I was meaning as yourself. And I'm like you, don't go to a group. Just don't, unless you're wanting to learn at all. Because other people are on there. And I said, don't do it. But if you like it, do it. But the most important thing is your own practice. And you do bring up a really good point, because delta and theta, those brainwave speeds, you don't necessarily have to have you don't have to be conscious about them, because we get them at nighttime, right? Mm-hmm. We've got this wave. But the difference is to be able to get those waves when you choose, sitting in your chair or lying on your bed in the day, because those brain waves, they do all the detoxification of your brain and your body. They bring back your wellness. They help you to channel. They, bring inspiration. They make you feel good. Doing that in the day is a very different thing to just letting nighttime waves of sleep. I guess what I'm saying, the key thing is to get out of this beta mode. And for a lot of people, high beta, which is stress mode, is what we run. And, if you have your phone with you in your pocket and in your bed next to your head, and you're watching things, that's generally it's high beta and high beta heart, fast beating heart. That's what you've got to shift out of to make the sort of change. Yeah.
And so, the interesting thing for me is sometimes I consciously go to meditate, and normally I get nothing when I go in to consciously meditate. And then I'm like, well, that was a waste of friggin' time. Sometimes it's just like, for me, that meditation is me just walking, going for a walk, or driving in the car. And, I find it very easy that I can shift that gear quite unconscious, but I've probably been fine tuning it for a while, but not realizing that's what I'm actually consciously doing. Does that make sense?
Totally. And it's not, I just like to, maybe it's just I was a lawyer in a previous life, and I have a very active conscious mind, and I like to be able to know everything, which is actually also a challenge because, so when I talk about meditation, very little of us actually meditate, because meditation is really just observing and getting to that deep level and then just allowing. Most meditations are actually self-hypnosis. And that was what I learned, because I was like, I want to understand these brain waves, and I'm going to direct them all and tell them what is going to happen. And that's just because that's my, what do you call it? I suppose it's my early weddedness to too much activity, because it makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
And if you're a nervous type person, then it's really just hard to just do the allowing. You've obviously managed to tame a lot of that out of yourself. And so I think it's just, there's no right or wrong way. Everyone does it, but there is a really powerful benefit of consistently choosing to slow everything down.
Yeah.
Whether you meditate or whether you're self-hypnotized, it doesn't really matter, but it's actually just the practice of getting out of the everyday. That's the hard part for pretty much all of us.
Oh, absolutely. When you were speaking, what was coming to mind for me, that I know there'll be listeners wanting me to ask this question. So many times people have said to me, but I've manifested it, Lily. I've manifested it. And then it turns up like this, the total opposite of what I wanted. And I know I've had this happen to me. And at the time, it's like, how can I ask for this? And then I've got, the orange over here. I know that, for myself, that the message is normally it comes in, you've got to be really clear on what you're manifesting, and spirit will always deliver it in divine timing, and something equal or better. Sometimes people don't always see that. What would you say around that?
Oh, I struggle with this, because I want it to turn up exactly as I have asked for.
That's the control that we have going on.
But no, I've learned that because I use the analogy that you can't possibly understand that your subconscious mind, your imagination runs your whole body. If you tried to actually think about that, how, without thinking, does your blood flow all the way through your body, your heartbeat, how does your mind, all of that stuff. So how could you possibly know how the universe is going to deliver a desire to you? like, and a good example, which most people understand, is a hit song. So you write something with love and you put it out there and you go, okay, really, really, this is an amazing tune. And it will go to a number one, bestseller. I was watching about Posh and Bex, that documentary on Netflix. They were just wanting to have a love affair, and they just created these, this power that just, they explored themselves under with the entire world watching the whole time. They had no possible idea that one beautiful love affair could generate all of that massive interest and, just worldwide obsession.
Yeah.
There's no way. We have no power over anything. just what it is that we choose to focus on. And I think that's the difference, is that when people say they manifested it, they often don't realise that they're not consistent in their, focus on the desire. So when I am encouraging people, if you're hardwired to want to see it turn up exactly as you want, I'll say that you distill it to one tiny moment of success with the feelings that make you feel really good. But then you wait for the sign, because that's the difference. You wait for the actual sign for it to pop over from the unconscious, the 99% to the 1%. And if you're doing something, like if you're going out and doing something, then it's not going to show up in its divine arrangement. And we get in the way, because we then, when we're doing stuff, we'll be sending those contradictory signals. So then what you get is definitely what the universe has delivered, but it's got all of your mixed messaging in it. So that's why it shows up as it shows up, and not as what you focused on. Does that answer the question?
Oh my God, totally agree. It's like I say to people, unless your energy doesn't match it, your energy's got to match it, like in all aspects, for it to come the way that you want it. So, if you're wanting to win $1 million, but you don't believe, you're not showing up in the world in the vibration.
It's $1 million.
It's $1 million. It's $1 million. And
hey, I'm $1 million.
Yeah, it's like chalk and cheese. If you're showing up as a 2%er and you're wanting $1 million, like, there's no match. Or if you've still got fear around money, there's no match.
Yeah. So tell me, there's also this feeling tone, and this comes from a very famous body of spirits called the Seth Collective. If you were to say, what do you say your feeling tone is? Like your general vibe, your general feeling tone. How would you describe yourself? Because this is really useful to, how would you describe your feeling tone?
Ooh.
Mm.
You've been asked this question. I'm meant to be asking you the questions.
Oh, that's important.
Soul connected. Love.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Love. Carry on.
Soul connected. Love. Awareness. Not that awareness is a feeling tone.
So is that the energy that you're walking, like your everyday energy? Because it's really important for manifesting.
Yeah. So
not what you love about, like, but what your actual is.
Okay, so that's actually a really good question. So something that eclipse I have worked out, and become very, it's becoming more and more in my awareness is, when I'm in Picton, I have massive, I'm at peace. My body is at peace. My nervous system is at peace.
Yeah.
I'm fully grounded. I'm fully in love with life. There's joy. There's connection. Because it's just me and my family. It's a lot more aligned with how I want my life to be in all aspects. When I sometimes beautifully go to Canterbury, no disrespect to Canterbury, it's a lot more busier. I'm busy. There's a lot more people.
Awesome. Awesome.
I feel out aligned. I leave and I feel it takes me away from the solitude and the peace and the energy that I've created. it takes me to another layer of vibration. You know, what I've realized is that is the energy of, it's just like apples and oranges. Now, it's become such a big gap in my energy field. Does that make sense?
So a question I'm going to ask you is, does that have to be place related? Is it the whenua or papatūnuku who gives you that, or is it that you just associate peace with?
I think it's the last. I think it's,
okay.
I think the energy that I have created and the sacredness that I have created. And, you know, I did have that in my home in Rangiora. It was my sacred. I'm a person that the environment needs to be like, I'm an environment person. From my environment, if I feel safe, if I feel loved, if I feel nurtured, and, you know, Mother Nature nurtures me every day, all of those things, then I can craft and create and be in the world in a higher vibration.
So that is a really interesting, you brought up two things in terms of the manifesting. So the feeling tone that you have is super important to whether you're manifesting a car or whether you've got a bigger purpose to, you know, connect with a whole lot of clients around consciousness. That's super important, your own feeling tone. But then you brought in the atua or the elementals, and people forget about this. Like, you know, when I'm working with a client and I want to calm them down, I either get them to float into the sea, I get them to float down a waterfall, or I get them to say, you know, it might just be, and actually Dolores Cannon, most famous hypnotist, she used to get people to float down from a cloud. So everyone has this access to these atua or these natural elementals, and they are one of the best tools to harness because, like, so in my case, my general feeling tone is hustle. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, baby. But my preferred manifesting vibe is settlement. I always hear myself like, settle the fuck down, calm the fuck down, you know. And because when I'm in hustle, I'm going to be going, you need to do this, you need to do this, you're not doing this. So that is, for me, is really bad. Yeah. But as soon as I get into settlement, and that is like you, if I take my shoes off and stand on Papatūnuku, if I look up to our ancestors right up in the sky, I can find that. But everyone has to find this, and it's the meditation, your practice of meditation, whether it's walking in the forest, walking by the sea, getting out in your boat on, you know, out in the harbour, that you know there's a vibe, and in that vibe, that's when you place your thoughts. Yeah. That's when you do your work.
Yeah.
You know?
And what I've noticed, and, you know, obviously those that follow know my journey, my body was so attuned to hustle. Like when I had facilities catering, I was so attuned to like do that vibration that I was so out of line with my soul. And then obviously, you know, moving from Canterbury to the Marlborough Sounds to Picton, I definitely notice when I'm back in Canterbury because, you know, there's more people compared to Picton, you know, it's busier, you know, everything around me feels busier. And to me now that feels frantic in my, that feels frantic in my, the way I want to operate in the world, the way I want to be in the world, if that makes sense.
Well, totally, and just don't want to scare the Cantabrians, but essentially,
I love the Cantabrians because I'm from Cantabria, but I know
what you know. I was born in November. I pretty much lived my whole life in Sumner and Christchurch. So, but there's geographically, it's a whole lot of alluvial sand and river stones on top of a really big ocean, and which is why the earthquakes had so much impact. So the pushing of the plates is constantly sending this up. So that is naturally an area of energy, and you can use that energy. Like that's awesome. It's just about being aware of some of those other influences. And, you know, if you've got a dead flat, like if some people just know, you know, they're kind of dead and, you know, they need to be sparked up. Living in one of those areas is awesome for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, and I get that, I totally understand that, because that was my vibration. That was where I was at. Now there's a part of me that just wants that, deep grounding, deep grounding. So I can go, the more that I ground into myself and my spirituality, I can reach higher. I can manifest from higher points. And so that's what Melba sounds. That's what Picton offers me, in a bigger context, if that makes sense. And then
totally.
I'll go back to Canterbury to live, but I'm just not there right now. I've got to change the world.
But the other thing about the South Island, from a cultural perspective, is the land is actually a waka, and actually you're really under the influence of rangi nui, because the sky is so beautiful. When you come up here to the fish head, and where I am right up in the north at the moment, up in the bush in Waitakere, you really have to come to grips with Papatūānuku, which, that's really taken me a lot of settlement. And then it rained and rained and rained and rained. I was like, oh God, is it ever going to stop raining? I can't handle this rain and this mud and all these insects. But, this is the shifting. And I think that is, and I'm only saying it because I know people who are connected with you are either super manifestors, or they are on their way to claiming their super manifestation self. You want to use the free energy rather than using your own, because it's bloody exhausting if you're doing your own work, and you're never going to get the results in the same way that if you work with those elementals, or you're working with a higher purpose, or you're working with, something that is beyond you, preferably the galaxy or the, Mother Earth.
I think what you've just brought up is a valid point. The mystics, the magic, the priestesses, the witches, the wisdom keepers, the healers, whatever context that looks like, we actually all have the same ability to work with the same elementaries. And we all call it differently. We all call it like different language in whatever capacity. And I think, when I collectively feel into the energy that is being reactivated on Earth right now, and en masse, I'm just like,
thank God.
Oh my God, bring it forward. The woman, the way showers, we're reconnecting back to ancient wisdom here and remembering, and it's reactivating our and a subconsciousness into our consciousness and our DNA, and that just makes me go, every part of my being just goes hallelujah, on a mass. And I think that's the thing, once we realize that the messages we're sending, not only to our body, but to the outer cosmos, has an impact on how we are in the world, or where we are in the world, or, from the whole manifesting thing, it's actually a whole lot easier.
Well, and also because we have a responsibility. If we have. It's not just for yourself. And while it is cool to manifest a new car, and for me, in my case, I've consistently manifested so much money in my life. It goes just as fast because I let it go just as fast. But, I have, when I work with certain kaupapa or purposes, just millions of dollars starts flowing really fast. So I know about manifesting money. That's one of the things that has always been a little thing. Probably a Taurus midheaven also helps. But this physical manifestation, when you understand how your thoughts generate powerful, repeated thoughts, generate powerful energy vibrations, which then means stuff turns up. That's the first step. It really is. And it's fun and it's playful. But I'm, saying this to your audience, if you're listening, you're actually here to do bigger things. You're not here to play small. You are here to do really big things. And the time is now to do big things, not small things. The time is to shake up the systems, to rattle the cages, to make, the frowners uncomfortable, because you've got the language. And I was just going to say, I don't know if you've done this, but I really love threads on Instagram. And I just encourage anyone who's out there that you can put a post in that says, I want to connect with, and then you put your little emojis. So I put the universe, unicorns, alchemy, and you literally, in the space of 1 second, will get 30 or 40 other people go, yeah, I'm into the universe. It's the most fun thing on Threads. I encourage people to play around with that if you want to build a community of like-minded souls. You just put your little thing, and you'll probably, I'm on there as Super Manifestor if anyone wants to connect. But it's just a really cool way of basically building and connecting. I mean, you and I connected from a random email, even though we've both lived in the same city, and now you're in Mobile and I'm, in Auckland. These things are very powerful, and they're actually not, it's just the time. It's the time to connect, and it's the time to do big things.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally, absolutely agree. So you've got a phenomenal book coming out, sister.
It's been a labour of love. And, I'm in an esteemed company on the authorship. But, a book is not it's a journey. And also I got to just bend down because I'm in the company of some pretty strong divine energy systems, Horus and Ra, which are around, it's about embracing the divinity within, really. And but yes, it's exciting. The 8th of November is my launch.
And so those that are wanting to connect with you or connect with you, buy the book, tell me where they need to find you, sister, because I'm sure there'll be many women listening to this and men that are like, I gotta connect to this woman. I gotta find me some of that.
So the best way socially to connect is Super Manifestor on Instagram, the little A with the Super Manifestor. And I always give a lot of stuff on a lot of aroha or a lot of meditations and ways to find your own divinity. So on that forum, my book's on Amazon, and there is a link which we can share.
I'll share too.
And so that's the best probably way to find it. If you buy it, if you pre-order it, it's half price up to the launch. So the ebook is like, super cheap. It's basically we're giving it away. And that's just because it's my first book. So I get to be 52 and a first time author. So that's exciting. But it's definitely, that's the easiest way to get it beforehand. But there's lots. I am going to be, if you head over to my socials, I talk a lot about the book. I talk a lot about manifesting. I talk a lot about, this is going to be an ongoing stream. She said, she sniffs. The pollen is so bad about other people as everybody in the rest of this country and the rest of the world sneezing with pollen.
That was me last week. I think I've moved through that. Interesting though. Oh, I'll say that after we finish the recording. Hey, those that are listening, what final little gem can you give them?
I would just say
wisdom.
I just say be more at the time is now, and surround yourself with people who feel that at a very deep level, because and come out of your shell, come out of your spiritual closet, start beating your manifesting drum and do some amazing things, be some amazing things. Yeah.
Love it. And I always ask this question. There's 2 other questions that I ask just to end the podcasts. What would you tell your 5-year-old self if you could meet her today?
Yeah, I would say come out from behind the couch. and stay naked. I was a naked kid. I'd say stay naked. Don't let anyone tell you to put your clothes on.
Loved you being, you obviously, you were fine about being in your skin.
Well, it's more just let your spirit come out, because when you put clothes on, not that I mind putting clothes on, actually I do straight away. I like to wear a singlet and shorts pretty much all the time, but it's like, we all need to wear our spirit on the outside, because it has a profound effect for other people, not just for you. You know, being lightful really helps others. And I think that's why we're here. And I say that all the time. We're not here to be swaddled. We're here to expand.
Funny that you say that. That reminds me of when I was studying to be a counsellor. We ended up doing in Auckland, we went to a local marae. And I just separated from my husband, wasn't really sure what the hell I was doing, but I was like deeply called to study this course. And I remember, you know, feeling very vulnerable, feeling like if they just touched me just a little bit, I could break down and cry, and I needed to have my shit together because I'm here with all these other powerful women that, you know, are studying to be counsellors, and I'm like, you know, starting the relearning my journey, restarting my journey. And I remember this woman saying to me, this elder lady, phenomenal lady, just after we ended and we were leaving and saying goodbye, I remember her saying to me, the most powerful thing that you have to offer the world is your spirit. And at that time, I remember going, what is this woman talking about? Because I wasn't living at that stage anywhere in my spirituality. Anywhere was I actually owning any parts of me in that realm. I was in survival mode. Like, I was still just like ticking the boxes, painting on a face, trying not to cry, trying to get through the day, like holding my shit together, trying to be semi-normal, broken. So I totally resonate with what you, like, totally resonate. At that time, my clothes with my blanket to hide my soul. So I totally resonate with what you're saying there. Absolutely resonate.
It's so funny because it's like I've literally felt in this interview that you're this huge circle of light, that white light. You know, I'm that little the little igniter that comes and burns down this, but you've got this amazing, huge, you know, just this lovely and enveloping energy. But I think the thing is that everyone has this. It's just that people never think of themselves as, they think of themselves as shoved into these physical bodies, and these physical bodies are beautiful and fun, and, you know, we like them. But then they put the clothes on them, and then you put your stories on them, and finally you do your hair, and, you know, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's
actually, yeah, no, it's you are your energy, and wear it on the outside. Yeah. And if you know, however you do it, I love that you do it in such a, you know, it's like a korowai or a cloak. It's you know, it surrounds people in this in this embrace of light.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for saying. And I just have one last question. This is a question that is a bit of a curly one, but it's fascinating what people say, because there's no right or wrong answer to it. If you could change one thing right now in the collective consciousness, what would it be?
Think about this one.
Yeah, it's a curly one. I told you. It's an interesting question.
Well, I got my immediate answer is many years of colonization. But if I had to change one thing in the collective conscious, it would be to embrace the power of play. And yeah, because I don't have a right or wrong view about the way things are. But if we play just a little bit more, I do think we would not be so hit up on some of the things we hit up on. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. That is so potent to end with. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, sharing your spirit, sharing your heart with the listeners. I know that those that have listened will absolutely be enriched with your knowledge and wisdom. And, you know, I wish you wholeheartedly all the success, not that you need success, because it's going to come flow naturally. No, it feels like it's just going to flow like, you know, water, just be in flow with the feminine. All the success with the birthing of your book. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who listened. Aroha.